I'm not, some sort of anti-vax flat earther. I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan. I've been taking monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin. I feel pretty incredible. That is what the media has been trying to do. They're trying to shame and out and cancel all of us non-vaccinated people. It was such a witch hunt. The problem with this is it is so political. Health should not be political. Why do people hate ivermectin? Not just because Trump championed it. Trump endorsed ivermectin and HCQ, and so take that shit off. It doesn't work. I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now. The great MLK said that you have a moral obligation to object to unjust rules. I am somebody who's a critical thinker, so it was my opinion that wasn't rooted in any science.
What is your, we talked just a little bit about it before we started up the show. What is your take on the situation? Knowing what you know, having heard, what he said in August, and then now, and then on top of that, the shit he said on Pat McAfee's show.
I was getting
like, bruh.
I think he believes he was right. I don't have a doubt in my mind that he believes he was right.
I think he thinks he was right too.
But
just because you think you're right does not mean
everyone else in the world knows
right.
He was being slick. Right, exactly.
Yeah, like totally being slick. He was totally being slick. Anybody who says any different to try and defend Aaron Rodgers, you full of shit like he is. Because he was being slick. And, I actually had a good amount of time to really kind of think about this, giving myself the weekend to just let it kind of sink in, and then to see things and to get more info about what specifically he was talking about, and then what is actually like proven science. And this is the shit that's crazy to me. Couple things. One, Aaron Rodgers is a narcissist. You can tell he's a narcissist because the entire time he tried to paint himself as the victim. The victim of what, bruh? What are you the victim of? There's nobody who was trying to make you anything. You're the one who said you were immunized.
Right.
And then when it comes that you caught COVID and you have been unvaccinated the whole time, which is a whole nother story because he's been going around without masks the entire time this season.
Shooting commercials,
like up in people's faces.
Right, going to all these parties and
throwing John Wick parties at Halloween. Like, come on, dude. You lied. And then when you listen to what he said about why he let me back up a second. Okay, when this motherfucker said this right here, I started laughing. I was like, you gotta be fucking, you out your goddamn mind. When he was like, I said I was immunized. And then he pivoted over to, now, had the media done their job and asked me a follow-up question, I would have answered with this. And I'm like, bitch. You would have answered with this. And then he started going off about how all this shit that you easily could have made up the day before and try to present it as that was your frame of mind then. Like, bruh, are you serious? Are you really thinking we gonna buy that? You're insulting the entire world's intelligence. And look, we're pretty dumb. We're pretty dumb, not gonna lie. But we're not that fucking dumb.
I was born tonight.
I mean, most of us.
But not last night, motherfucker.
You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker start going into this, all this shit. I would have said that I had an allergy to the mRNA vaccines. So then that left the Johnson & Johnson. but the Johnson & Johnson got pulled because of blood clotting issues, which is like, okay, slow down, Aaron. One, which ingredient are you allergic to in the mRNA viruses or vaccines? Which ingredient are you allergic to?
This isn't the only vaccine that uses that technology.
Exactly. Now, on top of that,
those other vaccines too.
Exactly. On top of that, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was paused because of 6 cases out of 6.8 million doses administered.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. This motherfucker was literally on a hamster wheel, just running his feet, yapping his mouth, going on and on. I mean,
you're better off just saying nothing.
Bruh.
I mean, this is like some shit I would have did with my parents back when I was a little kid.
Bruh, be a leader and just say you ain't vaccinated. Like all the other quarterbacks and receivers who decided not to get it, just say you ain't get it.
Yeah, didn't do it.
He was over here talking about, there was a witch hunt. When a motherfucker, anytime somebody says witch hunt, I want to backhand their ass. It's like, bitch, ain't nobody worried about you. Not like that.
This is all you're doing.
I mean, come on. Look, this guy, Aaron Rodgers, and this is how I 100% feel about this. He's a coward. Why is he a coward? He's a coward because when he explained that there was a witch hunt going on players who weren't vaccinated, and he obviously, people they were seeking out people to shame people for not being vaccinated, and I wanted to avoid that kind of attention on us. That means you were fucking scared. You didn't want you didn't want to hear people talking bad about you. You were scared. You was being a little coward. You didn't want to have to deal with that. I'll tell you what, as much as I disagree with how Cole Beasley was handling this shit, I got respect for him for coming out and saying it.
Yeah.
I got respect for it.
Hey, this is me. This is what I think.
Kirk Cousins
left it at
came
that.
out and said it. He said, fuck it. Put me in a plexiglass box. He said, put me in a plexiglass box.
He said,
I ain't getting the shit.
I'm willing to die behind this.
I'm willing to die behind this. If I die, I die. That's what he said.
Well, damn. I can't even argue with that.
I can't even get mad at you, cuz.
This man willing to die.
He said, I'm a ride and die for mine. These were men who had balls to stand in front of a podium in front of reporters who all were going to hammer him on this vaccination thing. They did it. They stood up there and they did it. And you know what? The ones who wanted to fucking dodge it, they just said, you know what? Personal thing. You can snicker at them all you want. But hey, what else are you going to do? Well, you can't ask me no more questions.
Yeah.
So you had different avenues you could have taken that would have one, just provided you a short-term inconvenience. But no, the great Aaron Rodgers cannot be inconvenienced for a short period of time. Short-term inconvenience, maybe a couple of articles written about how you're anti-vax or whatever, but hey, that's for other people to say. If you're not, you're not. I don't have look, I am vaccinated, but I'm not going to try and tell someone else that they must get vaccinated. If they don't want to get vaccinated, then don't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
But like the NFL said, you got a choice. You get vaccinated, this is what we got. If you don't, this is what we got. You can still play, you can still work, you can still get paid, everything, but you got to be on your P's and Q's.
You masked up every day.
We're not moving no games, motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah. You know what it is.
You know what it is. We ain't moving no games. You can play, ain't no issue if you're not vaccinated. But we ain't moving no games if you get sick, and you will miss a game if you do. At least one. So to me, he's a coward, because only a coward gets up there and puts himself in a position to look for some kind of sympathy because you want to spin it as you're being attacked. Motherfucker, nobody said a word to you. You the one who said all this shit. And then you go completely off the fucking rails. I'm being chased by a woke mob. A woke motherfucker, nobody said nothing.
I think at some point he quoted MLK in all of this. I believe he quoted MLK at some point.
Oh, sweet fucking Jesus.
He had a moral obligation.
Oh my God,
to
I
defy
almost fucking forgot.
An unjust rule.
I almost forgot. This motherfucker.
As if, anti-vaxxers were being lynched or, denied access to fair housing practices or whipped and separated from their families.
You know what I mean? You motherfucker, Aaron Rodgers. Man, you know what? I was a fan of that motherfucker. Fuck him. He wanted to quote Martin Luther King. You want to compare? How could you ever in your life think that anything you're dealing with a fucking vaccination shot is in any way comparable to what Martin Luther King was talking about in that quote, especially in the context of that quote, which he said that quote from behind jail bars after getting arrested and beaten by cops.
Yep.
For silent and peacefully protesting. You are a coward ass, bitch ass, wannabe fucking intellectual who doesn't really, you're not really with it, bro. And on top
there's
of that,
no danger. There's zero danger from taking his stance. People were laying down their lives.
Zero. People were walking into fucking war. Basically, they were walking into enemy territory.
And dogs sicked on them.
Dogs
hoses.
Getting kidnapped on their way back to their hotels and murdered and lynched.
That's just the stuff they'll tell us about.
Yeah, and then the shit we ain't never hear about on top of that. Hell, MLK his damn self. He was just woke up, he was just got done eating breakfast and a motherfucker sniped him from across the way. So how in the world do you think you can ever compare yourself or even use a quote to apply to yourself as if you're being oppressed somehow? You're fucking making $30 million a year. Shut the fuck up. Like, seriously.
Yeah, this one blew me away.
These cats almost laughed. They was looking at him like, well, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. All right, here's the clip.
48 hours in, and I consulted with a now good friend of mine, Joe Rogan, after he got COVID. And I've been doing a lot of the stuff that he recommended in his podcasts. And,
AJ Hawk even got a smirk on his face like, oh, shit.
I'm going to have the best immunity possible now based on the 2.5 million.
I'm going to have the best immunity possible now. Like, again, dude, I don't care if he doesn't want to be vaccinated. That's fine. You don't have to be to play football. If you're going to sit here and tell us with a straight fucking face that you did your research, that you got 500 pages of research that you sent to the NFL, and when they asked you, well, how did the NFL respond to that? Oh, they basically looked at me like I was some kind of quack. It's like, yes,
there's a reason.
That is what they will do because they got scientists that they're talking to, and you brought them 500 pages off the fucking internet.
They got a lot more time than you.
They've been digging into this a lot longer than you have, buddy. And immediately you see on Pat McAfee's face, he's just like, mouth. He's hiding his mouth. Like,
dog, did he really just say this shit?
This nigga tripping. He tripping. Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
I know he didn't say what I think he just said.